First time home buyers. This is the webinar that you've been waiting for. We're going to cover the 3 secrets to becoming a first time home buyer. I'm super excited to go through this webinar with you guys today. I'm Tish. I'm a licensed real estate agent. It's going to be fun. It's going to be interactive. You're going to learn a ton. And I promise you this will be a life-changing presentation. So stay tuned. If you got kids in the room, make sure that they're out. If you got the TV on, turn it off. If you got your phone on, turn it off. I want your full undivided attention. That's the way you're going to get the most out of this presentation, guys. It's going to be interactive, and most importantly, it's going to be epic. We'll get started in the next couple of minutes. For those that are just joining in, I see people still coming in. Again, I'm Tish. Welcome to the 3 secrets to becoming a first-time home buyer. We're going to have a ton of fun on this call. Make sure all distractions are out of the way. And really excited to go through, this incredible change that we're seeing in the market and the golden opportunity of home ownership. So really excited, guys. We're about to get started. Still seeing people come in. So again, if you're coming in, welcome. Welcome. We're going to go through these slides. It's going to be fun, exciting. So let's get started. Yeah, let's get started, guys. Awesome. So in the next 40 minutes, I'm going to show you how to make $25,000 per year by using these 3 secrets to buy your first home. Anybody excited about that? So we have the chat, by the way. So yes, no, please put, responses in the chat. Also, please leverage the Q&A section as well. So if you have any questions, put your questions in the chat. I'm going to be covering questions at the end of the presentation. Okay? So really excited. But anyways, anybody interested in, learning about how you can make $25,000 per year? Well, there's a secret. There's a secret formula. There's a secret formula here. And for those that stay until the end, I'm going to give you an extra $125,000 in savings. Plus a bonus. You get a free first-time home buyer guide. I promise you, this is a life-changing webinar. Okay? If you're not a first-time home buyer, you could still sit in and listen to this webinar, but boy, does this webinar give first-time home buyers a winning advantage in an aggressive market. So, who am I? Who is Tish? Well, I am a multi-award-winning real estate agent. I'm based in Ontario. I'm a real estate investor, landlord, founder and owner of BTS Homes and Soldbytish. I do have VIP Platinum access to various different pre-construction projects, off-market opportunities coming soon, and I also have access to MLS listings as well. Today's agenda is quite packed. We have quite a lot to cover, but it's all important information. So this is why I've left no stone unturned, because I want to equip you with the tools needed to be successful. And that goes way beyond just learning about the 3 secrets, right? So you need to understand the unlimited earning potential, why renting is too expensive. We need to tap into your motivation and timeline and the importance in that. What's going on with the real estate market? There's been a lot of changes announced. It seems almost every week there's something new. We have first-time home buyer incentives. We're going to cover the home buying process, how to get your down payment, how to improve your credit score. Guys, who is teaching about how to improve your credit score? Nobody. But today, you're going to learn that. How to qualify for a larger mortgage, co-owning or single ownership, investment or primary home, pre-construction versus resale, determining your house type, mortgage broker versus bank. What is the difference? The 3 secrets to becoming a first-time home buyer. and then the home buyer strategy call. So this, I'm expecting to be about a 40-minute presentation, but boy, these 40 minutes can completely change your life. I promise you. First, we're going to start with a disclaimer. So I cannot guarantee that you will be able to purchase a home after this webinar. The truth is that most people want to buy a home or investment property. Who doesn't want to move? If I offered you a $5 million home, would you want to move in the next 3 months? Everybody wants to move. Who doesn't want to move to improve their living situation, right? Everybody wants to move. But the truth is that few take action to do the things that are necessary to become a homeowner. Very few. This webinar will give you a fighting advantage to becoming a homeowner, but this isn't a get-rich-quick scheme. I do not believe in purchasing property, flipping it in 3 months, 6 months, or assigning a pre-construction home and then profiting and then reinvesting. I'm not that type of agent. I do not set my clients up for failure. Okay? So this isn't a get-rich-quick scheme. This isn't a become a home buyer quick scheme. There's a process. Okay? There's 1,000 ways to approach the home buying process with failure and only one way to approach it with success. And this is why most people want to buy but don't end up buying. Okay? It's a very specific formula that we'll cover. So you have the ability to make unlimited earning potential. You can earn $25,000 from one property, or you can own multiple properties. You know, you can double, triple. It's really up to you, right? Your earning potential in real estate is unlimited. The point of purchasing real estate is to expand your portfolio so that you can own multiple properties. So after the webinar, this decision is up to you. If you don't want to take action and not leverage the advantage of purchasing and owning real estate and have $0 towards your real estate portfolio, or if you want to make $25,000 or $250,000 per year, I'm going to show you the ropes to that. However, it's up to you to take action. So I'm going to leave that decision up to you. Okay? But in order to successfully purchase real estate, you need to purchase the right product. So it's important to understand where you're purchasing, how you're purchasing, and that's going to be covered in the 3 upcoming secrets. So please promise me that after this webinar, you're not going to use these 3 secrets for evil. It's a bit of a joke. So can you guys promise me that you're not going to use this webinar for evil, please? I want to see some comments coming in. Say, yes, Tish, I'm not going to use the 3 secrets for evil. So it's a little bit of a joke, a little bit of an icebreaker. So, motivation and timeline. If you don't get anything from this presentation today, the one thing I want you to remember is that the important aspect to buying a home is having clear motivation and timeline. So determining your motivation is a key component to getting to that finish line, to moving or investing in real estate. It is important to understand what's motivating you to take action. Do you want to increase the size of your home? Do you want a bigger home? Do you want to downsize? Do you want to stop paying your landlord's mortgage? Do you want to build wealth for you and your family? Do you want to earn passive income instead of trading your time for dollars? Right? So motivation is key. Those who have strong motivation, can understand and identify their motivation, are better at getting to that finish line. Next is your timeline. So understanding your timeline is key. Do you have a fixed lease that you can't break until the end of the year or until the end of that lease? Or do you have a month-to-month lease that you can break in 60 days? Do you want to buy now when prices are low or when rates drop? They're expected to drop soon, right? If you buy now, there's an advantage. You buy and then you wait until those interest rates go down. And you make that instant equity because as soon as those rates drop, prices are going up. So those who buy now are making instant equity, right? Or do you want to wait and pay more for the same house and take longer to build equity, right? So motivation and timeline, I'm telling you, super important. And renting is too expensive. I do not recommend. So, I mean, a lot of people rent. I rented for 3 years myself, right? So according to recent data from Urbanation, the average rent for a condo in the GTA is now $28.21 per month. Isn't that insane? $2,800 is the average rent in the GTA. The average condominium rent for a bachelor is $2,124. That's a studio. There's no bedrooms. While the average 2-bedroom is now over $3,000, $3,125 to be exact. There was a dramatic decline in affordable rentals throughout 2024. So we're seeing less and less affordable homes. The number of condos listed below $2,250 per month dropped 75% annually last year. Rental construction has dropped. I don't remember the last time I seen a new build going up that offered affordable housing. You don't see them often. Demand for rentals has grown, right? We have increased levels of immigration, difficult job market, and many people being able to afford home ownership. Homes built or renovated on November 15th, 2018 or later are now subject to rent control. So if you're in a home that's brand new, built after November 15th, 2018, and you're renting $2,000 per month, your landlord could turn around and say, I want $9,000 for rent next year. And that's legal, thanks to Ford. I don't know if you've seen that viral story of the two tenants whose landlord increased their rent from, I think, $2,000 something a month to $9,000. It's legal. And we're going to see more and more of that. Okay? And rent payments are going toward your landlord's mortgage. They're happy that you're renting from them. They're making passive income. They're building their equity, paying down their mortgage. They love that you're renting. So renting is too expensive. And if you calculate how much you spent on rent in the last couple of years, I'm telling you, if you want a wake-up call on how much you're actually wasting with renting, do that calculation. How much you pay monthly with how long you've been renting. That calculation made me realize I need to get into the darn market because it was a nasty number. So what's happening in the real estate world today? During the COVID-19 pandemic, the Bank of Canada lowered their overnight rate considerably. This caused many buyers to enter the real estate market, and home prices skyrocketed by over 50% in some markets. The rate of inflation also increased considerably from negative 0.4%. We were in the negatives for inflation, guys. This is why the Bank of Canada lowered that overnight rate considerably. Interest rates were really, really low in the 1.6, 1.8 range, and the market was so overheated and it erupted. People were buying left, right, and center. My cousin, my mom, everybody was trying to buy. However, the inflation rate has now entered the 2% range, and the Bank of Canada is expected to start reducing their overnight rate this year. Fixed rate mortgages have already been reduced. Okay, so that's why we've seen that increase in activity in the market. So house prices, when interest rates started to go up in March of 2022, home prices declined in what had been one of the hottest markets. In Canada, housing prices dropped by 21.7%. Some buyers grew fearful of buying, and some no longer qualified. However, home prices have started to increase again in many micro markets. Some home prices have gone up as much as 10% since January 2024. Rental prices. This caused the rental market to increase in demand and to skyrocket in price, proving that the housing demand was still very present. rental prices increased by more than 20% in a matter of months in certain markets. So, inflation rate. So, what is our target inflation rate? Can you guys please let me know in the chat? What do you think the Bank of Canada wants us to have for our target inflation rate? Okay, which shows that we're having a somewhat healthy economy. Okay, this graph is kind of giving you a clue. So this graph is from 2020 to 2025. Some of you guys got it right. Exactly. They want that inflation rate at 2%. During COVID, it went down to 0.4 to negative 0. It's crazy, right? And then in 2022, in May of 2022, it went up to 8.6. That's why they aggressively started to increase those rates. To me, they were a little late to the party in increasing rates. But you know what? They've done it. And they're expected to start reducing it because our inflation rate is now beginning to go down and is expected to continue to go down further. So look at that, guys. From 0.4 to 8.6. Okay? And that's the last 5 years. But look at the inflation rate from the last 10 years, right? So it's been close to that 2% mark. It's been okay up until COVID when it dipped, right? And then up until 2022 when it spiked up, right? So the last 10 years, things haven't been so bad up until recently. And then we have the Bank of Canada's overnight rate over the last 10 years. Okay? So their overnight rate has been quite low up until recently. So it's out of the norm for them to increase rates at the speed that they have been, but it's because of how crazy the market was, and it's due to the inflation rate being so high. Okay? So what does the future have in store? So, as the Bank of Canada continues to curb inflation by them rising the overnight rate, it has actually started to go down. So the inflation rate is now at the 2% range, which is the Bank of Canada's target range. They'll begin to lower their overnight rate gradually. Mortgage interest rates will begin to decrease. This will increase in the amount of buyers who now qualify for a mortgage. This will also allow the interest on borrowing money to be lower, and this will cause an increase in pricing of homes again. So, the Ontario average house price in the last 4 years. So, from 2018 to 2024, we've seen home prices go from $570, $400 to almost doubling to $931, $953 in 2022. Bank of Canada started to increase that overnight rate because of inflation going crazy to 8.6. Prices slightly went down to $872 and now are slightly beginning to go up again and are expected to continue to increase. But let's go back for a second. Do you see that jump in price between 2018 to 2023? Guys, that's what, 300,000? The average Ontario home price has gone up by 300,000 in that short span of time. So the average homeowner made $300,000 in equity in Ontario during that time, during a 5-year span. Do I have your attention now? You want to be a homeowner now? Comment yes. Let me see those yeses rolling in, guys. So what does the future have in store? For housing inventory, we are expecting high buyer demand, we're still facing critical low housing inventory. We have the Green Belt legislation where the government has limited where we can build, right? We have a lot of farmland, a lot of protected land that we don't want to build on. That's why we have so much high rises going up in Toronto, because we are running out of availability for the Green Belt in terms of places to build. We have low builder housing supply. 30K to 50K new homes are being built sometimes annually, guys. It's a joke. We have high immigration rate. This has been largely absent throughout much of 2020 and 2021. And now we're expected to let in just under 1.5 million new immigrants in the next 3 years. We have record low interest rates, more people working remotely, record low unemployment rate of only 5.1. Rental properties are expensive and competitive. The average rent in the GTA, again, is at $28-21 per month. It's too expensive. So guys, when the real estate market was hot, this is, sometimes I get people telling me, Tish, I want to wait. You know what? Depending on your situation, it might make sense to wait. But 9 out of 10 times, I find that waiting is a losing game. It's better to spend time in the market than to time the market. Here is the proof. The average home went up by $247,400 in 5 months when the market was overheated. Isn't that insane? So between October 2021 to March 2022, prices went up by $247,400 in 5 months. Look at that. From 1.128, 1.376. Okay? These are facts, guys. These are facts. So, would you agree that it's better to spend time in the market than to try to time the market? Comment yes. Comment yes if you agree, or no if you don't, guys. Let me know. Let me know your thoughts. So the longer you take to become a first-time home buyer, the more difficult it will become. Down payment requirements have increased since 2016. Okay? They made it that you have to pay more to be able to buy a home for your down payment. And the more that prices increase, the more that the down payment requirement increases, right? Because it's based on purchase price. Home prices have gone up considerably. There's now a new rule to limit the number of mortgages a bank can issue that are larger than 4.5 times a borrower's annual income. Deposit requirements on pre-construction have increased. First-time home buyer incentives are being discontinued. The longer you wait, the harder it will become to buy your first home. Sad, but true. So this is an example of a first-time home buyer incentive that was discontinued as of March. Not that it was very effective, but it's a shared equity program where the government was willing to give a first-time home buyer anywhere between 5 to 10% toward their down payment, and in return, they wanted to own a piece of your home. And then at the time of you selling, you would, or upon your mortgage being paid up, you would then have to give them back their money. So a lot of people didn't leverage this incentive, but a few did. Governments discontinued it. Guys, this is facts. The first-time home savings account. So it's a new savings program that was announced in 2022. So what it means is that you can now make a contribution under the first-time home savings account that is tax-free, and you don't have to pay yourself back when you take out money from your first home account to purchase your first home. Account holders are able to contribute up to $8,000 annually to the account, with room rolling forward if they don't use it all during the calendar year, so up to a limit maximum of $40,000. Partners who are saving for a first-time home buyer for first home together can actually have an FHSA with a combined amount of $80,000. So when you have that partner to help you, it helps you with your down payment. First-time home buyer incentives. So there's now a first-time home buyer tax credit. Okay, this is introduced by the federal budget. It allows first-time home buyers in Canada the opportunity to recover some of the costs associated with their purchase. So you can apply to get a non-refundable credit that was valid at $750 until the 2022 budget was passed, which has now increased the credit amount to $1,500. Something, it's not much, but it's something, right? We have the GST-HST New Housing Rebate. So it offers money back to Canadians who buy a new built home, substantially renovated existing home, or rebuild a home that was destroyed due to a fire. So in all three cases, an individual will incur GST-HST on their purchase. So this actually is not only exclusive to first-time home buyers, but it's regularly used by first-time home buyers that are buying new built homes. Okay? It's not much, but it's something. Then we have the land transfer tax incentive. So we have a provincial land transfer tax for Ontario. You get up to $4,000. But if you are purchasing a home in Toronto, you have to pay an additional tax. So in all of Ontario, Toronto is the only province that has an additional land transfer tax in addition to the provincial land transfer tax. So you have to pay that additional tax. However, Toronto's giving you that rebate of $44.75. Okay, so buying a home in Toronto is a little bit more pricier, guys. Then we have the home buyer's plan. You can use the home buyer's plan to withdraw money from your RRSP, so that's your registered retirement savings plan, and you could use that toward your down payment. You could use $35,000 each, so between you and your partner. For a total of $70,000 that you can take from your RSP toward your down payment. A lot of people don't know about this option. And you then have 15 years to repay what you've borrowed, interest-free, starting 2 years after you make your withdrawal. A lot of people aren't aware of this option. It's a good incentive. And as Warren Buffett says, if you don't make money while you sleep, you will work until you die. To those that don't know, Warren Buffett was a businessman, investor, philanthropist, and was known for being one of the wealthiest investors. Could you agree with what he says, though? It's true, right? When we trade time for dollars, we don't make as much as if we were to make passive income and having that money continue to make passive income while we sleep, right? He was pretty spot on. So the home buying process. Yay, the fun stuff. So you get a mortgage pre-approval. It's important to understand how much you qualify for, your monthly payment, lock in an interest rate, create a home buyer strategy, start home shopping, looking at properties, put in an offer on your desired home. So we try to negotiate if possible. Sometimes when we're dealing with multiple offers, we cannot negotiate. But we try to negotiate in this aggressive market. Provide a deposit to listing brokerage. So once you've purchased your home, you have to provide that deposit. Ensure conditions are met. So you might want a condition of financing, inspection, status certificate if it's a condo, condition for repairs. We visit the home to take measurements and ensure that it's in good condition to close. I recently had a walkthrough with my clients and they were just like, what is a walkthrough? What is a final walkthrough? And I'm like, guys, we got to do this. We got to make sure that everything that we put in the agreement of sale is still in the home at the time of closing. We also need to make sure that the home's still in its present condition that we purchased it at, right? So the seller has legal obligation to ensure that the home's still in its present state. Have a lawyer check title for liens, title issues, and to transfer ownership from the home seller to you. Get your keys and move into your new home. Easy peasy, right? So the financial benefit of buying a home now versus later is you now get to build generational wealth for you and your family. You buy low, you sell high. Home prices are low now, so it's a great time to buy and enter the market. Interest rates are cyclical, and it's, as you can see from the graphs, it goes up and down. However, for the most part, tends to be quite moderate. Housing prices are also cyclical. It is common to go up and down, but in the last 48 years, it has consistently increased. This is why investors We typically tell them to hold on to the property for at least 5 years. That way, if there are ups and downs in the market, you're still seeing that appreciation over that 5-year span. Told you guys, it's not a rich scheme. There's people who are like that. They call me all the time. Tish, I want to flip a house in 6 months. Said, well, good luck. It's possible. I've had investors make $300,000 in 6 months. It's possible. But that shouldn't be your mentality. That shouldn't be your goal when buying real estate. Think 5 years out. Okay? In the winter, builders are more motivated to sell their existing inventory. So sometimes you're able to get a better deal. But in the spring, there's more inventory. So you have more options. So it all depends. Real estate is really the safest investment that one can make. There's great incentives. You have more negotiating power. You have less competition, depending on what you buy and where you buy. You can buy a resale home now, and you could refinance when rates are lower. So there are those options available to you, right? But it's all based on your specific situation. So the buying process of purchasing pre-construction. So you meet with me, we create your specific buyer plan and get you approved for a mortgage. We review projects. You complete a worksheet that we send over to the builder, letting them know that you've put in a request to purchase a particular home. If it's a condo, you have a legal obligation to get a 10-day due diligence period or 10-day cooling off period. For freehold purchases, it's not a legal requirement. So sometimes builders provide that due diligence period. Sometimes they don't for freeholds. A lot of time when you're purchasing a freehold home, it's firm on signing. But during your due diligence period, you'll provide the builder with your post-dated checks and your mortgage letter. The agreement will be sent to our real estate legal team, who will ensure your interest is completely protected. They'll ensure you understand the costs, understand if there's anything that we don't like that the builder has put in the agreement, and negotiate with the builder and so forth on those items. You then have a decor studio appointment, and then the real estate lawyer prepares you for closing. So new homes are the most desired type of real estate. Everybody wants a shiny new object. For that reason, the market's very fast-paced, it's aggressive, and it's highly competitive. I've been to a builder launch where a builder sold over 100 homes within 8 hours. I've never seen anything like it. Posted a video on Instagram, it went viral. Okay? That's the market that we have going on here. So pros and cons of pre-construction. The pros, you're able to pay your down payment over time, not all at once. Buying a new home, you can personalize your layout and have less maintenance. You don't have to worry about tenants until closing if you're looking to invest. You don't need a mortgage if you choose to assign it before closing, but you should not be purchasing pre-construction with the intent to assign. But sometimes things happen, you want to sell it, so sometimes it's better to have that assignment agreement in place. You can start to build equity with less hassle. We have flexible options for move-in. Many incentives such as extended deposit, cashback, and etc. You can lock in today's interest rate for the future, but don't pay any mortgage or interest until closing. And you don't have to worry about paying property taxes. The cons to pre-construction is that you can't move in right away. You have to wait until closing, and delays can happen. Typically 3 to 6 months for condos, sometimes it's longer. There's also a risk of a project canceling. So right now, more than ever, it's important to work with the right builders. Very important. Understand what you're purchasing. So down payment or deposit requirements for pre-construction. So down payment is the required amount you need to put toward purchasing a home. The full down payment for pre-construction is not due until closing. The deposit varies depending on what the builder requires. Some require 5% until closing, 10%, 15%, 20%. It all depends on the project. Typically for condos, it's anywhere between 10 to 20%. For low rises, it's usually 10. But it's an extended period of time. Okay, so there's this deposit example, first deposit of $5,000. due at signing, second deposit up to 5% in 30 days, third deposit 5% in 2023, 5% deposit in 2024, 5% deposit, 5% in occupancy. So this is an example of a potential deposit that a builder may provide. But there's a lot of different deposit options, and that's why a lot of people love pre-construction, because you don't have that obligation of putting down all that money at once. You have time to pay your deposit toward your down payment over the next couple of years. Okay, and the deposit, of course, goes toward your down payment at closing. We have projects with deposits as low as 5%. So, some good options there. So the buying process of purchasing resale. So, you meet with me to create your specific buyer plan. We get you approved for a mortgage. You get sent a daily list of homes to review and decide which ones to see. We go home shopping and view properties. Put in an offer for your preferred home. Once the offer is accepted, the initial deposit is due to the listing agent's office. Then if taking out a mortgage, the appraiser does an appraisal, so they'll book an appointment, go to the home, make sure that what you've paid for the home is in line with market value, because banks do not want to loan you more than what they think the home's worth. So they'll loan you, based on market value. So that's important to know. Then the real estate lawyer will assist you with closing on your home. Easy peasy, right? The pros and cons of resale. So where it gets interesting, guys. So the pros is that you're able to pay your minimum down payment. You have the potential for positive cash flow. You can negotiate prices and terms, such as inspection and financing, and you can move in right away and can lock in a low interest rate. So you can immediately stop paying that rent. That's too expensive. You can move into your home right away, and you can lock in that low interest rate now. The cons is that you'll need to take out a mortgage at closing, which is usually within 1 to 3 months. Okay? You'll have to close on the home. You don't have an option to assign. Deposit and down payments aren't very extended. If you purchase an older home, you'll have maintenance issues that you'll need to deal with. So we try to get you a home that's a little newer. Tenant issues can arise if you end up having bad tenants, if you decide to purchase an investment property as your first home. And with resale, you get what you get. There's no option to choose features and fixtures. You purchase it. If you want to make changes after, you have the option of doing so. But it's not like a new build where you choose your features and finishes and the seller does it to your liking. So for resale, the down payment and deposit requirements are as follows. Down payment is the required amount, again, that you need to pay to purchase a home. Full down payment isn't due until closing, but there is a deposit. So within 24 hours of your agreement of sale being accepted by the seller, you typically have to provide your deposit. Deposit can be $5,000 up to $50,000. All depends on the purchase price. Typically it's 5% of the purchase price, but there might be some flexibility there. And the deposit goes toward your down payment at closing. So to those that don't know, the minimum down payment requirement for a home that's $500,000 or less is 5% of the purchase price. For a home that's $500,000 to $9,999, it's 5% of the first $500,000 and 10% for the portion above $500,000. And for homes that are $1 million or more, the minimum down payment is 20% of the purchase price. Okay? If you want a full breakdown, want examples of this, guys, happy to do that during your home buyer strategy call. So how to get your down payment? How do you get a down payment? To those that don't have. Work a second job to save up. Okay? Self-employment income could be used toward your down payment. So you get a job doing Uber, skip the dishes, make that extra income, right? Work at a call center on evening or on weekends. Take up babysitting, do a little construction job. Like, there are ways to make extra income to save up for your down payment. Watch your spending. Come up with a saving plan. Get a higher paying job so you can save up more. Get money gifted to you from family. A lot of people are getting money gifted to them. Have your family access their equity. We all have family members who own property. Have them access their equity in their house to help you to buy your first home. Your grandparents, your mom, your dad, your cousin, your sister, your brother. Somebody I know in your family owns a home. There has to be a way for you to access their equity through them refinancing, getting a HELOC, or second mortgage for you to be able to buy a home. A lot of first-time home buyers are doing this strategy. Leverage the first-time home savings account to allow you to save up tax-free. Consider purchasing with family or close friends so you can all contribute to the down payment. Then once that home has equity, you can resell it. Split the money, split the equity, and then each of you buy your first home. Purchase pre-construction that has an extended deposit for your down payment, so you're in the market. You're not closing right away. You don't have to worry about a mortgage or tenants right away. You're purchasing pre-construction. Lower your budget so that your home's price is lower and your down payment requirements will lessen. Put the minimum amount down and not 20%. I have a lot of people saying, Tish, I have to put 20% down. What? Says who? If the house isn't over $1 million, you don't have to put 20% down. If it's not an investment property, you don't have to put 20% down. Okay? There's a lot of false information circulating regarding the first-time home buying process, guys. Be very careful. And develop a savings plan and cut down on non-essential spending. Very important. How to improve your credit score. Woohoo! Review your credit report. It does not hurt your credit if you check it. Check it on Borrowwell, Equifax, Credit Karma, or TransUnion. Borrowwell you can check without paying. I think Equifax now you have to pay to check your credit score. Get a handle on bill payments. Put the due date in your calendar and pay it on time. At least pay the minimum amount due. Use 30% or less of your available credit. Increase your balance of your credit card so that your utilization is lower. So if your credit limit is $1,000, only use $300 maximum. Limit requests for new credit. Okay? Pad out a thin line credit file. Apply for a secured credit card or loan. Keep your old accounts open. That helps to boost your credit. Deal with any delinquencies. Consider consolidating your debt. Track your progress with credit monitoring. Ask the credit bureau to include your rent on your credit score, on your credit report. A lot of people don't know that that option exists. It does, and it looks very good to a lender when they see that. CMHC insured mortgages often require a credit score of at least 620. So those are mortgages with a down payment of less than 20%. That's a CMHC insured mortgage. How to qualify for a larger mortgage. Talking about mortgage. Work with a mortgage broker or agent. So who here thinks it's better to work with a mortgage broker versus a bank? Comment below. Broker or bank? What do you guys think? Okay. Kind of gave it away a little bit. Yes, keep the comments coming, guys. I love to see that. So, the answer is mortgage broker. They're going to shop around. They're going to negotiate and get you the highest mortgage amount, the best interest rate, and lowest monthly payment. Okay? Increase your down payment. A larger down payment reduces the amount you need to borrow from the bank. Increase your income. Lenders consider your income when determining the size of the mortgage that you qualify for. Consider ways to increase your income, such as getting a raise, taking on a second job, starting a side business. Reduce your debt. Lower your existing debt, which can improve your debt-to-income ratio when qualifying, making you a more attractive borrower to lenders. Hold off on new car loans until after closing. I have people call me all the time, Tish, I want a car. I've seen a car that I really like at the dealership. Can I get it before closing? No. It's going to hurt how much you qualify for significantly. I've seen buyers' qualification go down as much as $100,000 because they purchased a vehicle from a dealership. You financed it, right? So it affects your income to debt ratio considerably. It can affect your credit score. Talking about credit score, work on ways to increase your credit score. The higher your score, the higher the mortgage that you'll qualify for. Okay? Co-owning or single ownership. So single ownership, you're the only owner of the property. When you have a partner ownership, you and your partner, so it could be you and a spouse, you and a friend, family member, both own the property. Consider ownership with a group. It helps to minimize the financial burden, requires a co-ownership agreement. So I usually make sure that there's a co-ownership agreement. So the terms, the, if there ever is a need to sell or if somebody needs to be bought out, that's stated in black and white. It's crystal clear. You register a business, and that's the process. Okay? Cosigner. Agree to be legally responsible to pay a debt if the borrower does not pay back a loan on title and on mortgage. Consider a cosigner. When I purchased my first property, I had a cosigner, and he was removed off the mortgage after the first year. People do that. Once you qualify, you have him removed 1 year, 2, 3 years. Or a guarantor, which is an individual that agrees to pay a borrower's debt if the borrower defaults on their obligation. Only on mortgage, not on title. So a cosigner is on title and the mortgage. A guarantor is on the mortgage but not on title. A guarantor must qualify for the full mortgage amount. A cosigner does not have to. So that's the difference. Consider having a short-term agreement to have a cosigner or guarantor removed once you qualify for a mortgage. Investment property or primary home. Primary home means that you're going to be living there. So you need to figure out, is it better for me to stop renting, stop staying with family and buy my own home? Or should I continue to rent, continue to live with family members and invest? Minimum down payment is suitable. So if you can afford that minimum down payment, you might want to look at buying your own home. It needs to be within a reasonable distance to work. The area that you are okay living in with your family for at least 2 years. So typically we say, if you want to move around a lot, maybe home ownership isn't for you. But if you're willing to stay for at least 2 years within an area, then you should consider it, which most people do. Want to ensure that the house is suitable in size for you and your family. Okay? So if you're renting a 3-bedroom home, you don't want to buy a studio if that's all you can qualify for. You might want to continue renting and invest in a studio, right? So it all depends on your situation, right? And that's what we'll go through when we meet on the strategy call. Investment property means you'll be renting it out to somebody else. So the minimum down payment for an investment property is 20%, guys. That's why you might want to consider looking to purchase it with multiple people, multiple friends, family members, having that co-ownership agreement. It needs to be in an area that has great price appreciation in recent years, ideally close to transit, schools, and amenities. Have a cash flow analysis done to make sure the numbers make sense. You don't want to purchase an investment property and be paying toward the bills. The tenant should be covering the majority of the expenses, if not all. Condos are easier to maintain, but low-rise homes sometimes appreciate faster. Okay, some investors love condos. That's all they buy because it doesn't require that much work to maintain. Whereas a townhouse, a detached home, a lot more areas for maintenance, right? So what do you guys think? Is it more convenient to invest in a condo or a low-rise home like a townhouse or detached home? Put in the chat. I want to hear. What do you guys think? Condo or... When people are saying condo, yeah, condos are good, right? It all depends, right? Yeah, low-rise does appreciate. Let's talk about different properties. So a detached single home, this is how it looks, right? It's a home that's its own structure, not attached to any other properties, although they might be nearby. Semi-detached is 2 homes joined. Freehold townhouse. You have no monthly maintenance or pottle fees. The homes are conjoined like this. Condo townhouse, the homes are conjoined. You have that maintenance fee, monthly or a pottle fee. Okay. You have condo mid-rise. So that's a mid-rise condo. And then you have a high-rise condo. How to determine your house type. I'm getting ahead of myself. Mortgage broker versus bank. Kind of went through this, right? A mortgage broker. acts as a third party between borrowers and multiple lenders. They offer access to a variety of loan products from different lenders. They may have more flexibility in finding loans for borrowers with unique circumstances. They may also have access to better rates and products than a particular bank or lender. And they can provide personalized guidance and negotiate to get you the best rate. Mortgage brokers, guys, they work typically on weekends, on evenings, during the night. I can contact my mortgage broker right now. They're responding. They're responding. Go to the bank, it's a game of chase. Sometimes, especially when the market was overheated, sometimes I have clients tell me, Tish, we can't get an appointment with our bank until 2 weeks. I'm like, well, 2 weeks of appreciation lost right there. Or, Tish, we need to know how much we got approved for this house that we're considering. It's Friday. Their bank ain't open till Monday. So we're stuck. And guess what happens on Monday? House is sold. Okay? So banks can only offer their product. So you're limited in terms of your loan product options, right? They may have stricter criteria for approval. And they generally can only provide you with their in-house processing and servicing of loans. So as T. Harv Eker says, and as I preached before, don't wait to buy real estate and wait. So those who don't know who he is, he actually helped 2 million people reach financial freedom. Do you think he knows what he's talking about when it comes to real estate? He's helped 2 million people. I would say yes. So let's get into these secrets, guys. So the 3 secrets to buying your first home. So secret number 1, how to use stress-free, low-commitment investment options to successfully invest. Secret number 2, how to maintain cash flow and equity that are above your expenses and cost of living to invest. Secret number 3, how to leverage your resources, buyer programs, loans, family, savings to invest. Okay? So secret number 1. So you want to look at your real estate investment options. It is, of course, one of the safest investments that you can make. And it's really rare to be able to lose in the real estate market, right? Very, very limited risk when it comes to that. If there is any slowdown in the market, it's usually very temporary, especially in the Ontario market where prices continuously have gone up aggressively, as you can see, as that graph that I showed the last couple of years. So smart investors can even set themselves up well in down markets by buying value-added assets, such as many did after the housing bubble that burst in 2008. You can build generational wealth that can be passed down through generations with real estate. And there are multiple ways of investing in real estate. Step 2, look for different ways to invest in real estate. Go with investment options that pose the least amount of risk, the least amount of maintenance, least amount of fees, least amount of down payment up front, least amount of deposit, and low commitment, such as buying pre-construction homes, buying assignment homes, buying off-market resale homes, buying MLS resale homes. Secret number 2, how to maintain cash flow and equity that are above your expenses and cost of living. Look for opportunities that are cash flow positive, cash flow neutral, or temporarily cash flow negative. Invest in an area that has growth potential. You have a strong population growth, transits close by. You have post-secondary schools. Home values have appreciated in the last 5 years. Good rental income and rental demand. Master plan communities appreciate at a faster rate in comparison to a non-master plan community. You want low carrying costs. Many markets in Ontario check all these boxes. Okay. Secret number 3, how to leverage your resources to buy your first home or invest in your first home. Access those first-time home buyer benefits. You can take out a loan for a pre-construction purchase, guys. You can buy with family, friends, or borrow money from friends. Your first property doesn't have to be your dream home. Sometimes it's best to buy an investment property first. Look into those home buyer programs. See what works best for you. Okay? If you have family that's an existing homeowner, as I said before, have them take out a HELOC. The lender uses their home as a guarantee that they'll pay back the money that you borrow. They can refinance. Okay? They can sell their high equity property to purchase multiple low cost investment properties. Right? So it's about having these conversations with your family members, with your friends, which I know is difficult. I know it's difficult to have these conversations. I have people who say, Tish, I want to have this conversation, but I don't know where to start. I don't know how to have it. Right? When we meet, we can have it. The next quote is 90% of all millionaires become so through owning real estate. More money has been made in real estate than all industrial investments combined. The wise young man or gal or wage earner of today invests his or her money in real estate. Andrew Carnegie. He was an industrialist. He was a philanthropist. He was also one of the richest people in the world. Think he knows a bit about real estate? Comment below. Comment yes. Comment yes. If you think he knows about real estate. Okay. Let me ask you a question. I know this has been a lot of information. Are you guys feeling a little overloaded with the contents of everything that we went through? Little overloaded? Okay. I'm seeing some yeses. Yes. Okay. What if I presented an incredible once-in-a-lifetime opportunity? Would you be open to that? That help kind of suppress the information overload that you just had. Would you be open to that? You would be, right? I mean, common sense, right? No brainer. So what I'm offering today is a free home buyer consultation. Okay? This home buyer consultation is going to be specific to your needs. We're going to go through your situation. We're going to come up with a plan to get you to the finish line. Okay? I put $125,000 value, but boy, is it worth more than that. If you ended up buying a home, is it not worth more than that? The average home in Ontario appreciates at about 5% per year, guys. Save and hold on to that property for 5 years. That amounts to $125,000. And the more you buy, the more of that $125,000 you get. Okay? So you'll have an opportunity to book your first-time home buyer strategy call with me. We go through your personal situation. This is a free consultation, no cost. In addition to that, so we're going to be providing you that free home buyer consultation worth $125,000, which is a joke to me. It's worth way more than that, but okay. But we're also adding the first-time home buyer guide, valued at $100. Okay, so this guide is going to equip you with everything you need to be successful in purchasing your home. It's a great resource for you to look into, understand the down payment, understand the payment options, the incentives that are available for you. You get that free. Okay, so now you're getting the first-time home buyer consultation, first-time home buyer guide, the first-time home buyer checklist. See how I slipped that in there? You're getting a free checklist worth $50 in value. That's what I'm giving you guys today. Home buyer checklist is very important. It's important to ensure that you're on track with getting to the finish line. Because remember what I said at the beginning, guys. Everybody wants to buy a home. Few make it to the finish line. Very few. Very few. Checklist keeps you on track with your goal. So you're getting a free home buyer consultation, free first-time home buyer guide, free first-time home buyer checklist. Whew, that's a lot. Oh, and then I'm slipping in a free list of mortgage agents. I put no value for that. But if you have a pre-approval done with one of my incredible mortgage agents and you save $500 per month rather than going with your bank, is that not value? That's a ton of value. But I didn't put a price on that, right? You're getting a free list of some mortgage agents. Okay? These guys are incredible. They get the job done. So you have your free home buyer consultation, your free first-time home buyer guide, your free first-time home buyer checklist, your free list of mortgage agents. As a bonus, I'm going to give you a free credit score booster guide. That's going to improve your credit score. Valued at $500. Okay? Improving your credit score is a key component to saving on your monthly mortgage, getting approved for more. Okay? It's very important. So you're getting a free home buyer consultation, free first-time home buyer guide, free first-time home buyer checklist, free list of mortgage agents, free credit score booster guide, and a free script to help you speak to family and friends. Free script. Okay? Which holds a lot of value because there's a lot of times when we don't know what to say. We want to ask our family and friends, guys, let's get into this investment opportunity. They're not on board. Happens all the time. I get those calls. They're not on board. Okay? I'm going to give you the script so that when we meet, they're on board. Okay? So these are the barriers that allow most people to not make the finish line. I promise you. These are the barriers. Okay? Total value, $125,675. Okay? $125,675. So you're getting free home buyer consultation, free first-time home buyer guide, free first-time home buyer checklist, free list of mortgage agents, free credit score booster guide, and a free script to help speak to family and friends. If all this did was make you an extra $125,675, let me ask you this. Would it be worth it? Comment. I want to see those comments coming in. Would it be worth it? If this just made you, $125,000, is that not a lot of money to you guys? Because between October 2021 and March 2022, the average Ontario homeowner made $200,000 and $47,000. So if all this did was make you an extra $125,675, would it be worth it? If this helped you turn one investment property into two, or to turn your primary home into your primary home and an investment property, would it be worth it? If this helped you to gain generational wealth for you and your family, allow you to stop renting, would it be worth it? I want to see those comments coming in, guys. Yes or no? Would it be worth it? Book your call. Book your call with me, guys. This has been incredible. This has been incredible, and I'm really hoping that you guys are. I don't know what's going on with that timer. Oh, I don't know what's going on with that timer, guys. Okay. Anyways, book your call with me, guys. Super important. Book your call with me at bookacallwithtish.ca. Okay. Forget the timer. I don't know what happened to it, but it's supposed to be I think it's a 20-second timer. It's supposed to be a 20-minute timer. Okay, so book a call with me. What I've done for my calendar is I've set aside the next 3 days for appointments for you guys. Okay? The reason I did this is because the odds of you guys coming to an appointment that's booked more than 48 hours out is less than 20%. This is the stats in the market, guys. We got too much going on. We have too much distractions in life. Okay? So I want you to book that call as soon as possible, ideally within the next 2 days, within 48 hours. So this doesn't get slipped away. Okay? So book a call with tish.ca, scan the QR code, book your call with me. Let's have that strategy call. It's a free home buyer strategy call. Equip you and your family with a successful strategy and plan to get you to home ownership. Okay? I'm going to answer some frequently asked questions, okay? So the first one is, would you recommend rent to own? So I typically do not recommend rent to own. And the reason I don't is because most of the times it's not to the benefit of the tenant or buyer. It's mostly to the benefit of the landlord or the home seller. I've not seen many successful rent-to-own programs, and so I get the question all the time. There's not a lot of options also in Ontario. If you do decide to pursue that route, we have to look really at the agreement. It might be a clause where it's set at a certain amount that's really high, or the interest is really high. So, the best thing is to focus on actually buying a home and getting out of that rental cycle. As I said, renting is too expensive, right? So we want to explore options beyond that. And then the next question, what is the difference between deposit and down payment? So deposit is, the deposit is how much that you put down to give a builder for a pre-construction home. It's usually an extended deposit, okay? The down payment is what's due, is a full amount that's due at closing, okay? That's for pre-construction. For resale, the deposit is the initial amount that you need to provide 24 hours after an agreement of sale has been accepted. Might be due earlier, might be due a little later. All depends on how we word the agreement of sale. The down payment would be the deposit plus whatever the requirement is for that purchase price that would be due at closing. So that down payment is due at closing. So whether it's a resale home or pre-construction home, the full down payment is due at closing. The down payment breakdown is 5% on the first $500,000. For any homes that are between $500,000 to under $1 million, it's 5% on the first $500,000, and then 10% on the portion above $500,000 up to under $1 million. And for any home that's $1 million, the down payment requirement is 20%. Okay, guys? Would you recommend pre-construction or resale? So, pre-construction is always a second option. Resale is typically a better option for most people because it tends to be more affordable. Okay? You tend to stop paying rent right away when you buy resale. You get in that home, you start building your equity, you stop paying rent. So you save on that rental amount that you would be paying if you bought pre-construction and continue to rent, right? Pre-construction, you still have equity potential, but it's a brand new home. So, you do have to pay typically more for a pre-construction home than you do a resale home. Pre-construction homes sometimes appreciate at a faster rate than resale homes, okay? So just keep that in mind. But again, it all depends on your situation. So make sure that you're booking a call with me so that we can figure out the best solution for you, okay? By the way, once you book a call with me, I care about your situation. I genuinely care about your situation. So you're going to be led to a form, a home buyer intake form that's going to ask you a few questions about you and your situation, so I can better understand your scenario and try to pre-plan before our call. Okay, so complete that home buyer intake form so I can understand more about your situation. So our time is best used at just trying to come up with a strategy for you and your family. Can I purchase a home if one spouse has good credit and the other doesn't? This is a very common question. So it all depends on the situation. Okay, so if one spouse has good credit, the other doesn't, it depends on how bad. Like, are we talking about one spouse has 650, the other one has 800? Because lenders may not bat an eye too much at that. Okay, you might get away with still being able to get a mortgage, right? There's a lot of factors and elements that go into being able to get an approval. If one spouse has a 300 credit score, the other spouse has a 590 credit score, you're going to have some challenges. You're going to have to look at private lending, which I typically don't recommend because the interest rate is really high. Or we have to look at coming up with some type of plan so that your credit score is increased. A lot of people have very minimal things on their credit report that could be changed to increase their score substantially. So that's what me and my mortgage team look at to get you guys into home ownership. Okay? So it's all about having a strategic plan for you guys. Should I work with a company that helps with the cost of down payment? So a lot of the times, the companies that are looking to help you with the down payment, they're looking to take some of your equity, just like that government program, the first-time home buyer incentive that's been discontinued. There might be some type of clause or problem that causes you guys to not be able to actually access all of your equity when it's time to close or refinance or sell. So typically, I try to tell you guys to steer away from those down payment programs. It's much better to try and save up for a minimum down payment and get your foot in the door. Okay. Can I purchase a home with bad credit? How bad? How bad? So, can you purchase a home with bad credit? It depends on how bad. If it's 300, guys, you're going to have some problems, but there might be some easy fix. Is it that your utilization rate is too high? Is it that you have a thin credit? Is it that, there's a collection item that's on there that shouldn't be on there? Have you had a lot of inquiries, a lot of hard inquiries? So there's a lot of variables that determine your credit score, and there's a lot of tips and ways to improve it in a short period of time. But again, this is a part of the strategy call. This is a part of me and my mortgage team working with you to come up with a plan to get you to the finish line. So guys, book your call with me. Okay. I've noticed that we run over time. So if you have any other questions, guys, please, please, please save your questions for our strategy call. We will go through your questions in detail because everybody's situation is different, right? And I'm so happy and proud of you if you made it this far. I believe in you. I know we can get you to that finish line, but we need to strategize and come up with a plan to get things in motion. Okay, guys? Thanks for watching, guys. Have a wonderful day. Talk soon.